This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to all of our viewers and listeners tuning in with us here on INCRadio Texas Satellite Studio. It is currently 9:01 p.m. Central Standard Time here in Austin, Texas. And before we move on with our show, let's go ahead and meet some of our lovely guests here in Austin. Let's go ahead and see who's with us today. First, let's meet Jamie. Sister Jamie, how are you today?
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're coming from. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight and spending your Friday evening with us. I'm Sister Jamie coming to you from Austin, Texas, which we are enjoying a very lovely 81 degrees Fahrenheit or 27 degrees Celsius. So wherever you are in the great state of Texas, I hope you're having a wonderful evening. Can't wait to dive into this topic this evening, Brother Justin. So what's on deck for tonight?
And I'm glad you mentioned the warmer weather, 81 degrees, Sister Jamie, because they're actually a way we did enjoy. All of us here in Austin did enjoy the warmer weather, which our viewers and listeners will find out at the end of this program. So please stay tuned for that. Let's go ahead and meet some of our guests here for today's topic. First up, we have Brother Sonny. Brother Sonny, how are you?
I am good. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, all right. And then we also have
Brother Edward. I'm pretty good too.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much, brothers, for joining us for tonight's topic. And I believe both of you are dads of your own families. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. I got 3 kids.
3 kids. Wow. Okay. All right. And that's actually our topic for tonight. Our topic for tonight is, of course, the dad zone. So for our topic for tonight, from things dads hoped they knew before they became dads of their own families to navigating the areas and lifestyle of parenting. Today we have tonight actually we have some of our guests here who, like we said before, are dads of their own families, and they'll be talking about tips that hopefully would help lift up some upcoming or even some new dads out there. Of course, we do have our question of the night, which is already in our live YouTube chat, which is, what is one thing that your parents told you that you always live by? And have they told you anything about being a parent? So please let us know your answers in our live YouTube chat. We'll be sure to read them at some point during our show. And looks like we already have some viewers and listeners in our chat right now. We have our very own District Supervising Minister, Brother Noel Calita-Divo, who says, "Good evening, brother. Welcome to INCRadio Texas. God bless." And we also have Deisha Fernandez tuning in from Austin, Texas. We also have our very own resident minister, Brother Jeff Menard, tuning in with us here in Austin. We also have the resident minister from Humboldt, Texas, Brother Armand David, who's tuning in with us. And we have our very own district CFO overseer, Brother Matt Call Talent, who says, "Happy anniversary to the local congregation of Corpus Christi on March 16th. Well, happy advance anniversary to our brethren over there, the local congregation of Corpus Christi. So let's go ahead and go into our topic. So I kind of want to open this question to both of our panelists who are here. And of course, whenever you're talking, make sure that you are a little closer to the mic. Okay. So name a memory from your teen years that you will never forget.
So for me, the memory that I can think of that I will never forget is when I became Kadiwa president. When I was in high school, I really wasn't a whole lot of, I attended church, I was active in the worship services, but I rarely go into activities. And so that changed when I became Kadiwa president. I first came to the United States, and a couple of years later, they asked me to hold an office. And one of the things that they asked me to do is to become a Kadiwa officer. And then I became a Kadiwa officer, and then later on became the Kadiwa president. That to me was a life-changing event, not only personally, but also professionally. And here's why. As a Kadiwa president, you're exposed to a lot of activities, and you have a lot of brethren that kind of look at you for not only advice, for guidance and all that, but also I think it encouraged me to become more vocal, to be able to spread out my wings, so to speak, because now I'm exposed to a lot of people. When you speak in front of people, that helped me professionally. And so now I'm able to now use that as a platform, even in my professional life. So for me, that was life changing, both from a member of an INC and also as a professional person when I graduated college, because it helped me to be able to talk to people and all that. So for me, thankful for that office, thankful for that opportunity to be able to do that.
Wow, I feel like we've been getting a lot of that on our show. It's like the keyword for 2025 is is character development. Is that right, Sister Jamie? I've been seeing a lot of that on our show.
I mean, I think that 2025 is a year to elevate ourselves, right? So I think definitely the character
Elevate,
development, elevate.
ele-
That's
elevate.
that's my word for the year, elevate. But
That's the word. That's the word.
yeah, but actually, let me set this up just really quickly with our dad brothers, our brother dads, Kasani and Ka Edbert. Can you maybe like tell us like how many kids you have and what are their ages, just so we can kind of get a picture, a full picture of, like kind of more of a backstory of like, okay, like when we start with the questions, we can kind of refer to your experience as a dad. Ka Edbert, we'll I guess we'll start with you, Paul. Like, how many kids do you have, and what's their age, Paul?
I got one son. His name is Prince Ethan.
And
And
how old is Ethan? Prince Ethan? I didn't know
is
that is his
eight
name.
years old. Yeah, 8.
He's 8. Okay, wow. Okay, so he's is that what, third grade, second grade,
Second grade.
second grade? Okay, and so elementary school. How about you, brother Asani? How many kids do you have, Paul?
For me, I think I have 3 kids. No,
You
I
think?
do have three
You
kids.
think?
You're not sure with that?
I have 3 kids, all they're sort of grown up. Two are twins who are 20, turning 21 in July. And then I got my youngest who is 18, 17, turning 18 in July as well. So everybody's born in July. So we celebrate the same month, which is cool. And I was born in June. So we
Oh,
do
good. So you pretty
one,
much just have
yeah,
one
one
birthday
celebration.
party.
Yeah, which they don't celebrate me. They celebrate the kids, of course.
That's always the case, isn't it? So that's a great, so we have a great like range of age here. So we have like some that's basically like preteen, or like in elementary school, and we also have like a teen and an adult, adult like children. So this is going to be a very interesting conversation in terms of like styles, and kind of like how you probably evolved as a parent, through as they grow up or as they grow older. Because I know, I think there's always a saying that, like, once you're it's your child, that's your child forever, whether they're married, whether like they have their own lives, they go to
Very
college and
true.
things like that, they'll always be your baby, right? Okay, so brother Justin, what other questions do we have on deck for our brother dads?
Yes. So the next question that we want to open up is, what's something your parents always told you that always turned out to be true? What's something that really stuck with you from your own parents?
Did you want to take that?
Uh, for me, is for advice of my parents, don't forget the worship service. That's the number one key. Yep.
Okay. All right. What about you, brother? So what's something that always stuck out to you from your parents?
So for me, 2 things. One is from the INC side. Obviously, yeah, being faithful in the guidance, I think, always comes from God. In that you will see that in your life. And as I grow older, I personally see that the guidance and all that are provided to us, not only on a daily basis. And then the other thing is that I remember from my parents, it's they always say that there's things that you don't understand now that you will understand when you become a parent. So I see that a lot as well when I became a parent, because now I got my kids, and now I think back the things that my parents would tell me that now I see in my kids that I tell them. So hopefully it's the good things that I tell them, and that's what I try to do. But yeah,
So it's come full circle then, it sounds like, because I think, do you ever in that time period when you're growing up, when you think back, let's kind of like get into like a time like, travel for a minute here, and you think back, there's certain things like maybe disciplines or structures that your parents did you didn't understand. Do you now, as a parent, becoming a father, becoming a dad, do you find yourself like thinking, oh my goodness, oh, I'm like my dad? I'm like, I have become my dad, or I have become my mom. Like, do you ever think that, like, Brother Edbert, like Brother Sunny, did you ever think like, oh dear?
Yeah, for me, I do, and it's too often, really. There's a lot of things that you suddenly realize my mom or my dad told me that, and now I'm telling it on, hopefully on behalf of my mom, to now my kids, but you don't want to admit it. That's the thing. It's like you want to make it seem that it's from you, but in reality you've heard it before. And even though, the funny thing is, when you think back, you don't agree. There's a lot of things that you kind of say, no, I'm not going to be that way. But as you grow up, you realize I'm exactly like them now as a parent. You think you weren't strict, but you are strict. You think you really don't care too much, but you do care a lot. And that's something that as kids you kind of frown upon. But now as parents, you think back and say, oh, I shouldn't have done that, because now my kids are here and they're seeing the same thing in me. So hopefully they didn't see me as a kid, because they can see that I'm exactly as they were when they were kids. And now as a parent, I'm trying to guide them correctly, and obviously within the church. So hopefully they see that.
I hope they're tuning in so they hear that. Brother Edward, what about you? Do you ever think to yourself, when you're younger and your dad or your mom is either disappointed with you, or maybe they're angry with you, they give you that look? Have you mastered that, like that titig,
That teaching.
Yeah, every time I do something wrong back then, when my younger age,
What happened?
they still advising me. You're number one. You're a member. We are the member of the Church of Christ.
Of course.
Do it. That's a bad thing. And then when I came older and older, I've kept that in mind. Yeah.
And now suddenly you're the one advising.
Advising. Yes.
Yeah, and sometimes it's tough because, yeah,
Yeah.
as kids you frown upon all those advices, right? And now as a parent, you think back and you don't want to put yourself in that spot, because what you didn't used to like before, now you're propagating it. Now you're saying this is how you should be done. And if they had known, wait, didn't your parents say the same thing and you didn't like it? So
I
hopefully,
hope
yeah,
your parents, well, hopefully all the parents that are tuning in are enjoying this anecdote, that like one day your
yeah, that
kids
one day,
will.
and you said it exactly. Full circle is really the correct term.
There's it seems like our dads here, they really learned a lot from your own parents, and it seems like y'all's children are still learning quite a lot from you. But let's go and see what some of our viewers learned from their parents, or at least what they're teaching their own children. Like, I think I saw a comment here from, let's see if I can find it in this swarm of comments. Like, we have this one right here from Annalyn Viato, who says, reminders from my parents: do not forsake the worship service, be kind, study hard, work hard, and pick your circle of friends. She's tuning in from over there in Sugarland, Texas. We have Mario Oka, who's once again tuning in with us from over there in the Philippines, local of is that Brixtonville? Is that how you pronounce that? Brixtonville.
Brixtonville. Yeah.
Okay, Brixtonville, district of Caloocan North.
Caloocan North.
Okay, all right, I pronounced that right. Okay, and it looks like we also have Josephine Sebayan, who's quoting, everything happens for a reason, and that also becomes my positive view in every situation. Wow, thank you so much for tuning in, Josephine. And looks like we also have excuse me, we also have Camille Brillier, who says, one of the things that my parents always taught me is to value education, because it was the only thing that no one can take away from us. They also taught us that we should be true Christians. Thank you so much, Camille, for tuning in with us. And we have our very own crew members, Brother Gonzaga, who says, "My dad taught me how to cook, do laundry. That's important, right?
Yes,
It's important to do laundry.
very.
uh, 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 to do groceries, to take care of my siblings, and to protect my family and those who are." And he says, and looks like he's opening his own cleaning services for Brother Bern Gonzaga. Thank you so much, Brother Bern. And looks like we also have one of our resident ministers, Brother Ferdy Febre, who's saying hello to RG Febre, and and also to his other uh, siblings who are also great dads as well. We have and we'll read one more comment. We have Ren Anthony, who says, "Parents, especially my mom, always told me, remember your roots. You'll go places with God's help." And oh, it just refreshed. You don't forget how much He has done when you finally achieve what you worked toward. Thank you so much, Ren Anthony, for tuning in with
Brother
us.
Justin, can I
Yes.
add one more comment? This is, I think, a very, very good comment, and I think it's also a good follow-up question. And it's coming from our brother Armin David. He said, "My tatang taught me to admit when I make mistakes or when I am wrong." And I think a lot of
Yes.
the times, as parents, obviously, you assert your authority and you're the head figure, and when you're disciplining your kids, have you practiced, that admission of, like, if you did something wrong, or how does that conversation, or what does that conversation look like? I mean, I think brother brother Edward, you're like shaking your head, not yet, right? But how about you, brother Sunny?
Go ahead.
So for me, that really rings true, because I always tell my kids that parents are human too. For one, we make mistakes, and as a parent, you don't want to present yourself as always correct, as always true, because it's not really true. There's times when you make mistakes, and I always tell them, follow what I say, not because I'm your dad, but because it's the truth, or it's something. And I always challenge them to make sure that what I'm asking or what I'm telling them is the truth. That it's not just coming from me, but it's something verifiable. Because I, as a human being, can make mistakes. So if you see something in me that's a mistake or something wrong, let me know, because I will admit to that. But it took years for me to actually do that and tell them exactly that, because it's difficult as a parent to admit that you are flawed, but you really are. And so hopefully they see the good in you, and understand that there's flaws in you as well that they can accept. So hopefully.
How does that feel when you have admitted? Is it kind of a freeing feeling where I mean, we carry a burden, right? But once you kind of admitted that, how does that like feel? And I guess, like, my follow-up is, like, how did your kids take that? Like, I guess, was there an understanding, a more closeness, that they understand that, okay, everyone makes mistakes, that kind of like brings you together rather than apart?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I mean, with my kids, at least I try to treat them, first of all, as a parent, right? You're a parent first, but also I want them to realize that I'm a friend as well to them. That I'm not about them. That I'm trying to make it seem like that we're almost equals, except that there's times when I'm a parent. But what you've gone through, I've gone through as well. But I'm not up there to dictate what it is that you should be doing. Rather, I know what you're going through. I know what you did. And that's why I'm telling it from experience. And so hopefully they can do it because I saw it through my eyes, and that they can see it now through their eyes as well. That what I'm saying is not something that I'm just saying, but I'm telling to them through experience. And hopefully they see that.
How
But
about your brother Edbert? Even to Kaedo, honey, I'm wrong.
yeah, it's hard to admit, right?
Yeah, about my son, when I'm trying to correct him about is doing mistakes for it. It's
Like things you would do, like things you would do in school or around the house.
or even the at the school and even in the house.
Because a lot of the things that he does, you've been there, right?
Yeah, I've been through that.
And it's something that they have to understand, that we've
Mm-hmm.
been there. Things that
Yep.
you do, we've done that
Yep.
too. And so we know And that's
how
why
they
when you
exactly they going through
Mhm.
today. Especially the kids today, they are different from
Mhm.
your life before, where when we were kids. Yeah.
There's a lot of different elements, I think, at play in this generation. You have, social media,
Yeah.
social media content, and I think they're very swayed by that. Brother Justin, do you have any other follow up with that, or do we have another question
Uh,
that you want?
yes, we'll go ahead and ask our dads here one more question. So, what is one advice that you would like to give to some of the dads or some of the other parents out there who need a little inspiration, especially to the ones who are new parents, those who just had their own kids. What advice do you want to give to them who need a little inspiration to like keep going and growing for a better version of of themselves and their families?
Okay.
I leave it to the experts.
So for me, I think the biggest advice, first from being a member of the INC, um, trusting God. There's a lot of things that you will not know as a parent, as an individual, and there's a lot of things that as you move forward in life, you'll try to learn. But if you trust in God and what He can do, you cannot be guided wrong. That's the thing that I go forward with. And there's always going to be things where I don't know how to do this. I don't know whether I go left or right. Best advice: pray. And that's how I kind of gone through life. And I am, I guess, by experience, a testament to that fact that you wouldn't go wrong if you pray and you ask for God's guidance. And then from a human perspective, just understand that you don't know everything. Is kind of what I say. And your kids at some point will know more than you do. And you just have to admit that you don't know everything. You're not never gonna know everything. And so if you have that humility to understand that you're not gonna be perfect, I'm not gonna know everything, but at least strive and try to give them guidance and do the best that you can as an individual, as a parent. And again, that expectation of not perfection is you have to have that in yourself. And hopefully your kids will see that as well and be able to move forward, knowing that nobody's perfect, but you can still move forward. And with the guidance of God, you'll be able to have as much of as perfect of a life that you can because of that guidance. Expert number two.
uh, so basically, everything you do, put God first, be prayerful, and don't forget to worshiping God. In everything we do in this world, there's nothing impossible with prayers of God.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that's what will guide you, right?
Yep.
Can I ask one, sorry, like really, really one last question? I know we're kind of like running out of time here, but for me, it's this is a very special topic because I lost my dad at a very young age, and so let me ask you, brothers, what is like the core memories that you're building with your kids in terms of like, you know, it's like something like a tradition that you do as a, as father son, father daughter. Because I remember my dad used to take us out. He used to take a, I don't recommend this to anyone, but from my experience, and this was like such a wonderful core memory for me that I always look back on. He would used to be a car salesman. So every time he made like, he sold a car, he would treat us out to the movies, So in the Philippines, it's like that's such a luxury to
Oh,
go
yeah.
out in the movies. But what the twist is, he would take us out during school. So he would, because he wants to see a matinee. And so he would come up with an excuse. Oh, my daughters have like, a doctor's appointment. But I will never forget that. And that became kind of our little like kind of tradition. And it was always a memory that like stuck with me. Do you have any that you want to maybe share that you do with your kids that's kind of like your core memory?
So for me, what we try to do as a family, and I think hopefully we'll be able to do this as they grow up as well, is every year we travel. It doesn't matter where we travel as a family, and that's sort of the tradition that we've been doing the last decade. And I'm hoping that we continue with that in the next decade, because as their families grow, I'm hoping that that whole idea of having that one special time in the year, mostly at the summertime, that we'll travel and have to schedule something at around the same time, so that everybody can kind of congregate at that around the same time and plan for it. Because to me, that you build a lot of memories, and I remember a lot of the things that we do when we travel, and I'm hoping that they do too.
I'm glad in this last part of our show we're talking about the quality time that we spend with our families, which is really the fun stuff
Mhm.
that you have with your kids, with your own siblings, with your families, especially as parents inside the church. And we actually would like to exactly see how we would spend times with our families, even especially on the weekends. In fact, we actually have a feature here to play to exactly see how we spend times with our with children, with family. So to all of our viewers and listeners, please stay with us as we look at this feature for CFO in action. The warmer weather gave the younger members of the CWS, or Children's Worship Service, and their families the opportunity to have their CWS Nature Walk. In this activity, brethren in Austin, Texas gathered at the Austin Nature and Science Center to enjoy its many attractions. The Austin Nature and Science Center has hands-on exhibits, education programs, and recreation activities for adults, families, and children of all ages that increase environmental awareness and appreciation of the natural environment. This activity was not only educational for the brethren, but also strengthened the bonds of the brethren and all the more love for the brotherhood. From Austin, Texas, I'm Justin Talioga for CFO in Action. Thank you so much to all of our viewers and listeners for being with us in our CFO in Action feature, and also for being with us all throughout our program for tonight. And before we wrap up our show, of course, we can never forget to thank our district CFO overseer, Brother Matt Carl Talons, our assistant district minister, Brother Chody Sampson, our district supervising minister, Brother Noel Calitativo, our executive producer, Brother Emmanuel Endaya, our station manager, Brother Wally Taray, our CFO coordinator and CEBSI CEO, Brother Angelo Aranio V. Manalo, and we can never forget to thank our beloved executive minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all your support in these programs, Paul. And once again, please stay with us. Please keep tuning in with us for INCRadio Texas, which is every Friday at 9 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, or every Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And right after this, we have INC Radio Caribbean. Thank you so much. We will see you next time.